What is up, everyone? JD here. Hope you're all doing well today. Today I'm excited to bring you my review of the case Marilla. This one here is a Smoky Mountain Knife Works exclusive. Let's go ahead and jump into today's video. What we're going to be doing is specs, size comparisons, thoughts and impressions, and I do have a little bit of feedback on this particular knife. Alright, so let's jump into specs. The exclusive variant of the case Marilla has a 3.4 inch Magna Cut steel, a little bit different of a steel option from their S35EN. 4.75 inch aluminum handles with a Nebula fat carbon inlay, which I think looks outstanding. Overall length is 8.15 inches. Unfortunately, Smoky Mountain Knife Works does not carry weight as they're in their specs currently. I hope in the future they do upgrade that. Let's go ahead and see how much this particular knife weighs. 3.5 ounces. That is awesome. Under 4 ounces. Great lightweight carry for this size of knife. Let's go ahead and jump into the knife. So it does have, again, Magna Cut steel, really beautifully done stone wash. Actually gets pretty thin behind the edge. It's not the thinnest, but it's not the thickest. It does have a thicker blade stock, but unlike, and I know I'm doing a little bit early of a comparison here, but unlike the Kinzua, which is a little bit more of a shallow blade, this is a little bit taller and the grind comes up a little bit higher. See how this angles down? This doesn't seem to angle down as bad, and it starts later. You have more of a swedge out on the tip, so this one's a little bit more slicey than the Kinzua, so nice alternative option here. Now, as far as the jimping on the back, really nice jimping, and as far as the blade itself, it does seem like it has a nice factory edge. I haven't done anything to it. This is exactly how it came from the factory. It feels pretty good. Like right there on the tip, it feels like it's snagging or hanging up on something. I haven't done anything to the edge on this outside of trying to use it. Let's see here. Let's come back the other way and let's see. Yeah, so right on the curve up or the bend up, it feels like I might have probably hit something when I was doing some cutting with this. And of course, it does have a thicker geometry. However, it does go right on through the cardboard. It feels really nice. I don't know what the heat treat is for their Magna Cut, and I am tempted to possibly get it tested so I can give that feedback on this knife, because I haven't seen any other channels that have tested the Magna Cut. Moderate use. I've broken down some stuff for recycling. Some of it is kind of like the food prep packages, like, you know, that pre-made fruit that comes in packages. Those I've cut down a little bit to make them fit in a recycling, just like in sections of 3s, and then some larger boxes that packages have come in. I've done that as well, so not too much, but it's a nice size, because again, 8.15 inches with a 3.4 inch blade. This is a great size. The ergos, it feels really comfortable. It does lock you in nicely behind the flipper tab. It does have space left over on the back for me to grip onto, so if I need to change my position, I can do it. You're not super tight up onto the edge, but it does give you a pretty good sharpening choil. It's right, where's my pen? Oops. Right about there where the pin ends. So you're going to get a couple of sharpenings out of it. So pretty good, not bad at all. The stone wash finish on it does a good job of masking any damage. Minimal branding. It's actually almost faded into the knife as well. Here you can see it is the Marilla Magna Cut. It is a made in the USA knife. Solid lockup side to side. As far as blade play, there's none. It's rock solid side to side is what I'm trying to say. Your lockup is sitting at 50% lockup, and it does have a larger stop pin in there, so you can see it is sitting right at the 50% mark. I'm going to jump into one of the issues that I have with this knife. I haven't done anything to try to treat it, but it came out of the package with a good deal amount of lock stick. While it is really smooth on the bearings and the action's really smooth, it does favor the show side just a touch. But again, it has no side to side play and it does have that 50% lockup, and again, it does have lock stick on it. So that is one of the issues that I have with it. The other is there is a ton of blade lash on this knife. You see how much it moves with the detent ball in the hole? And the problem I have with that is that when the blade is up like that, if you put it in your pocket and it's resting against something and you go in to grab this, if it comes out, it could catch the pocket a little bit and it could start to cut your pocket, because you can feel that tip when it raises up. I'm trying to demonstrate, like, it's catching, maybe if I back up some, it's catching the skin a little bit, and I can't demonstrate it because the blade hides it, but I have an issue with that. So I did reach out to Case. It is the weekend, but I did reach out to Case to talk about the lock stick and the detent lash that it has going on. It is a lot. That is a lot. That is a lot. Pocket clip is same as the Kenzua. It works really well, goes in and out of the pocket well. For some reason, it is sticking up a little bit as well. You can see underneath. You can see through to the other side with the skin. It does, sometimes it binds up here depending on the thickness of the material. Wish they would go to the flat screws. I think that would just solve that altogether. The Nebula Fat Carbon looks really nice. It has a little bit of red in the middle, blues and blacks, and a little bit of white. I think it looks really good against this blue, but you can get this Nebula pattern on the coated aluminum that has the black instead of the blue. The coating on both the knives that I have from Case, it seems really well done, feels nice. It is very smooth, but the ergos and the scalloping and everything, that it locks you in. So even though it feels smooth to the touch, you can grip onto this very nicely. I like this blade shape. It is like a drop clip, and it works really well. I'm hoping, oh, that lock stick, I don't know if you can tell. Maybe, let me lock it out. It's just a hint. I think it works better. Yeah, it's almost like a grind more than it is a stick. And it could go away, but here's my concern. As I'm already at 50% lockup, and I'm worried that that is going to, if it wears away, it's going to end up going to like 60 or 70% lockup as it continues. So I'm waiting for them to respond so I can reach out to them about the detent lash and the lock stick. Outside of that, if they can fix or correct that, this could be a really good option. So what I'm actually going to do is, before I do the rest of the normal review that I do for that, I'm stopping the video now, and then after I deal with the warranty, after I get the response, I'm going to update that as an add-on to this video. So I'm stopping it right here, and we will be back once we get this knife back from Case, or I can give feedback about the experience from trying to claim that under warranty. All right, fam, we are back, and I just got the Case Marilla back from Case Knives, and their warranty process, just for the record, is incredible. Got the knife back in 2 weeks. So what I was complaining about in the earlier part of the video, because it's been 2 weeks at least since I started that one, was the blade lash. So just so you can see, I am pushing on the button and there is a little blade lash, but it is nowhere near as sloppy as it was before. It's nice and crisp. The knife, I'm putting a good amount of pressure. This is very light pressure that I'm putting on it, so you can hopefully see it's not moving. I'm having to almost break the detent for the movement. The other thing that I was having an issue with was lock stick. There's still a little bit of lock stick, but I think that's because they oiled the pivot and there's probably a little bit of oil spilling over. So I'll continue to do that. It's just a very subtle hint of lock stick on the blade. And the last thing that I asked them about is if they could chamfer the edges down, because it was a little scratchy in hand, and I was just wondering if maybe they could knock it down. Well, they completely made it flush to the aluminum scales. Like, you can only tell that it transitions because you're going from a smoother tackier feeling aluminum over to the smoother kind of matte feeling in hand finish of the fat carbon. If it would have come like this for the price that it is being sold for, with the MagnaCut aluminum scales with the fat carbon nebula insert, I would say my only complaint, which continues to be the only complaint now at this point, is going to be the pocket clip. It catches a little bit right here, and a little bit of a pocket jam here happening where that cutout is. If they could have done the relief cut on the inside, and if they could have done, I would say, if anything, if they could have done a pocket clip like you see here on the bug out, that would have been more ideal, especially because of that fat tip.
Squeaks when you bang it. That's what she said.
Gosh. Is going to relieve the pressure more. This feels a little bit more pokey because, you know, when the contact surface isn't divided up enough amongst the surface, it ends up feeling pokey. The reason that even though both these bills ramp up, this one not as much, this one just a little bit more, is because they have more contact patch here, so it's dividing it up more where the hand is landing, sort of like skinny tires versus fat tires. But anyway, that would be the only complaint that I have. I love the fact that it's reversible. The lockup is sitting at about, it's hard to see through the camera. I'm going to say you're calling that 40 to 50% lockup. And the action, once you get past the ramp, very smooth. You can shake it shut with just a couple of little shakes. I didn't realize how close I was to the table. So 2 heavy shakes with the finger on the lock bar, and with the finger off the lock bar, you can almost kind of lightly shake it. The coating on the anodizing on the aluminum, sorry about that, is really nice. It came from the factory nice and centered, and they sent a little care card with it, right? Like, thank you for letting us service your knife. We recommend that you frequently clean and maintenance the knife. So they're telling you take care of it and clean it, and they're still going to honor any warranty in case anything does break down, you know, which is really nice to see. So this is now my 3rd knife with MagnaCut in. I have the no, I'm sorry, I did sell the Bear. So I'm down to the Rockwall, and I have the Marilla. I did on the second-hand market pick up another MagnaCut knife that I missed out on in the drop. So when that comes in, I'll debut that knife, and I will have 3 different manufacturers doing MagnaCut at 3 different heat treats. I believe Case is doing theirs at, I think, 60-61, the Rockwell from Tactile Knife 61, and the one that's on the way is 63.5. Like, very specifically, they list it as 63.5. Really will be interested to see how the edge retention does, how it does for corrosion resistance, ease of sharpening when it gets to that point. I don't want to take the factory edge away. I want to see what the factory edge is for all 3 manufacturers, how they perform. But I think if they haven't gotten to a point where they've worn down after a couple of months, I might just dull this edge out on purpose to break the edge down, and then just put my own edge on it, and then continue to see how they do after sharpening as well. So there'll be some long-term updates. But this knife is really comfortable in hand, really nice lock-in position. Ergos feel really good. It is fairly light. I can't remember what the weight was at the beginning of the video. Let's just see after it's come back, just in case they replace the whole knife. I don't really know. Yeah, so 3.5 ounces, very lightweight in pocket. Hopefully that helps, because I don't remember what it weighed in at 2 weeks ago, and I forgot to refresh my memory to look at the specs. But really lightweight, great action, made in the USA, MagnaCut knife, aluminum with the fat carbon nebula insert. I think this is a steal of a price. I hope, and the stonewash on it looks really good. I hope that they can get a little ground for success. I'm hoping that this review, for anybody that might be checking out the Marilla, hopefully they made it this far to determine how my warranty process went, since what I got was not what I had hoped I would receive when I got it initially. Now that they've corrected everything that I had issues with the exception of the pocket clip, and let's be honest, there's probably a Spyderco, I don't know, Spydercos are side by side also. There's probably a pocket clip out there that would fit this if I really wanted to replace it. But what I really probably do is just find some flat headed screws that still had like a deep pocket for the bit to get into, and just do that, because really in hand, I tried to use thumb studs, Lord have mercy, I just got off work, sorry guys. In hand, because it's so far back, it really doesn't bother me. But again, my hope is that you'll see this, that you'll watch the entire video, that you didn't cut off, and maybe what I'll do is put something to tell you to watch to the end to see what happened after the warranty, because I think it's really well done. The finish on it looks really good, not just the anodizing but the stone wash, and I mean that they did a good job. They did a really good job. Maybe a little bit of a hint right here, you can feel just a touch, but it's not scratchy, you can just feel the transition happen. But everywhere else, yeah, it's really smooth. So I'm happy. I'm glad I picked this up. I am going to continue to use the Kanzua when I have like large volumes of boxes to break down. I'm going to use that, see how the S35VN on that handles, and then I'll probably incorporate this into some of my EDC. I think it looks good, and hopefully the edge. Let's see what the edge is like now that they sent it back from the factory here. Let's see. Oh yeah, that is nice. Oops. Oh, is there a little bit of a, I might need to strop it. Let's see. Oops. No, there's definitely something catching right there. All right, hang on one second. I'm gonna go grab my strop. All right, I got my strop, but I was looking at it real quick too. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to show it, but I think I saw some paper sitting right, yeah, I can feel it right there. Just a little bit of an imperfection, it feels like. So let's go ahead really quick. Oh yeah, you can feel it. You see it right there going across the leather? So there you go. You can see it didn't come perfect back from the factory. Let's see if we can, is it on both sides? No, I think it's just this side. Yeah. A little hard to do under the camera. Give me a second. All right, that's a few strops. Let's see here if that helped at all. Oh yeah, it's already starting to get a little bit better. Hopefully that'll is an indication that it'll be really easy to maintenance. And a little disappointed that the edge wasn't coming back a little bit sharper. It probably would have cut through anything that I used it on. The paper cut only lets me know if the edge has any blemishes, like you saw when I was just trying to cut it there. Yeah, and it still feels like it's tearing a little bit, but I'll continue to strop it and see if that does anything to get rid of that. I'm not quite sure. I think maybe they didn't remove the burr. I don't know. I'm happy, honestly. That's something, because I would have sharpened it eventually anyway, but if you're not into sharpening, at least learn how to strop, because you see there, just, and you can see here where there was some blemishes on the edge. So down at the bottom it was fine, but when I was getting to right there, you could feel it start to snag. So having a strop, and then just make sure that you go back and forth. I like to lock the wrist, and then I pull up with the whole arm, keeping the wrist locked. So hopefully that helps, just in case you're wondering. I think I've seen like a dozen techniques on what you can do when you're stropping, but a good strop And then a good smooth surface to finish it off will help get rid of that, but you can see there it still needs some more stropping because it's starting to scratch the smooth leather. Anyway, I hope this review helped. I'm sure there's going to be some editing because I had to step away and everything. But if you enjoyed this review, do me a favor, leave a like. Consider subscribing if you're not already subscribed. If you are subscribed, thank you for the support. Don't forget to check to make sure that notification bell is set to all so you don't miss any future alerts for when future videos drop. Thanks for tuning in today. I hope all of you have a fantastic week. Until next time, peace.